Agent Power Huddle is a daily jumpstart, giving you all the tools you need to create an amazing real estate career. Led by top experts in the field, you'll learn how to sell more houses in less time while creating the life you want. Welcome to the Agent Power Huddle.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming here today or listening or wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This could be any time that you're listening or watching this, but if you're here live, thank you so much for joining us today on this beautiful morning. I am excited because we're going to be talking to Alisha Collins, but she's having issues getting into the in here, so I'm going to send her the amazing Alisha Collins, I should say. And she is an incredible agent that I have worked with in Casper, Wyoming, little area in Casper, Wyoming. But she does massive amounts of business, and she's been doing it for a very long time. She got into like YouTube channels and things like that. So as soon as we can get her in here, we will chat with her about it. And I'm sure we're going to learn some amazing things on leadership. And hopefully, if somebody from Agent Power Huddle can give Alisha
I'm working on it right now.
Okay. I gave her the agentcollective.com, but
good.
Okay. Hopefully we'll have her soon. But in the meantime, we can go over something else, which I am hoping to talk to her about these lovely topics. So this is the 12 laws of a team leader. Yes, I'm sharing the right screen. Okay, good. All right. So this is a post by Mr. Daniel Beer that I came across, and I thought it was pretty cool. And I think it's pretty important too. So as we have this discussion with Alisha and her team, I was thinking we could ask her about, how she might utilize these things. So number one is always own a process in your business, no matter how many employees or managers you have. If you don't become disconnected, you become disconnected and out of touch. There should have been a comma there, but now we know. Okay, number two, if they come for the splits and leads, they leave for the splits and leads. Instead, recruit to the best platform where an agent can build their business and then just be competitive, quote unquote, enough with splits and leads. All right, we got Alisha coming in. Number three, inspect the database daily. Number four is what you model is everything. What you say is nothing. That is so, so true. Yay, Alisha, you're here. I'm going to finish these little leadership items, and then we'll talk about what you do, and then we're going to get a little serious too. Okay, so let's see. So what you model is everything. What you say is nothing. Meet your agents where they're at. Some want more time, some want more money. Support them accordingly. This is kind of on the topic I talked about last week, how to leverage the 6 basic human needs for leadership. All right, number 6, leaders who allow their vision to be held hostage by scarcity-minded individuals are not true leaders. They are followers, and they are likely not in your organization come 6 months from now. Anyway, so don't sacrifice your vision for them. If a team member isn't, this is number 7. If a team member isn't performing well for a week or two, assuming they have been given tools and guidance, it's their fault. If they haven't been performing to standard for an extended period of time, it's your fault and you allowed it. I love that one. That was a really good point, which I used recently with someone that leads a very big team. Number 8, every problem you have with your agent has roots back to how you recruited them. Number 9, they are not you. So true. Number 10, accountability without judgment separates the wannabes from the pros. Number 11, never stop recruiting, and top grade your bottom third, always up or out. Number 12, don't worship at the altar of top line numbers. Profit is king. All right. So I was gonna kind of go into those, but now that we have Alisha here, yay. I should have warned you. I forgot. Sometimes going to agentpowerhuddle.com doesn't always work the best, and we try to fix it. Oh,
I think it was my internet actually. So anyway.
Oh, all right.
Well, this works because now I'm on my iPad.
Oh, good. Well, you're here now, and we're going to talk. We're going to talk to you. So I kind of gave some people a little bit of our history. Like, we know each other for a couple years now. And you are an incredible agent that's been using YouTube for several years. You have a team, and you are in Casper, Wyoming, and you sell a lot of houses. Is that accurate?
Yes, I do.
And so go ahead.
I love it. So yes.
Yeah. And that's obvious. I would imagine, because you can't really sell over 250 homes in a year without loving what you do and having the passion for it. So with that being said, this topic is a little different. Like, as long as Alisha is okay with it. And if I, all right. Okay. So we're doing something a little different today, because I want to celebrate Alisha. Alisha is going through something very, very hard. I cannot possibly imagine. And I don't want to like make her cry or anything, but I want to celebrate her, because I want people to understand, not to judge others. And women need to lift other women up, for real, for real. So Alisha's husband was diagnosed with cancer, and she's been going through that, which is very, very difficult. I'm sure. I can't possibly imagine. And she's been crushing it still with work. Like, and I want to talk to you about, like, how are you working through this, and like, how do you handle all of it?
So I had like a key hire about, I don't know, 3 or 4 months before this happened. We were so busy, and I felt like I needed more help, because I was staying up until like midnight. So now that's like my maybe not 10 or 11. I mean, I go to bed early, but sometimes it was 12, because I was trying to get like my YouTube stuff out and all those things. And so my main assistant and I decided that we needed somebody else. And she said, well, I think, why don't you hire like a personal assistant? So it all like unfolded. I talked about it for quite a while, but it all unfolded because, and I got to tell the story because it's so funny. One of my friends called me, and she says, I hate poodles. And I was having a horrible day. And I'm like, I have a poodle, right? I have a doodle. Like, what the heck? So anyway, I tell her like what's going on. And she's like, are you asking me to be your personal assistant? And I'm like, no, but that's a really good idea. So anyway, so we got her in, and she, like, anything I can't do at the office, I can't get done, she does. She like books like hotel stays for my husband and I, Airbnb, whatever we need, like, for his care. But I didn't have that at that time, but she was with me that 4 months. And then when all this happened, she like took over. So I actually would come back and forth from Denver when he was in the hospital. I would list houses on the weekend and then come back. She would take over, and we already had it like organized that like she was going to go and talk to people about staging. And so that was, or she would stage a house or whatever we needed. And she just kind of takes over. She calls herself my lifestyle manager. That's probably what it really is now. Because it's kind of a weird thing. Weird name. And so that's probably one of the main reasons. And I have a great team. And the other reason is because I did video for so long. I mean, it's like it took care of me when I needed it to this past summer. Like,
yes.
I mean, one week I got 4 calls, and I don't get 4 calls in a week from video. I don't. And I went home that weekend, listed those. And I felt like, first of all, the man upstairs was taking care of me. And second of all, that I did the work in advance. And that's what I think that people don't realize is like, you have to keep going. You just can't, it doesn't just happen for you.
Right. You gotta, like, I was talking about this last week, or maybe it was the week before, about like, it's kind of like you're mining gold, and you're in the cave, and you're just like digging away, and you don't know that just on the other side, like maybe you've been doing it for a year, maybe 2 years, just on the other side is that like big vein of gold. And I know a lot of us right now are going through it with the way that the market is, right? And I think you are so correct about like, the universe, God, spirit, source, whatever you want to call it, like took care of you ahead of time and had it planned out and mapped out. And those videos work for you 24/7, 365. And so the video was doing the work for you and is taking care of you now. And I want to bring that back to why, like, if everyone knows like you're going through something hard, right? And everyone knows, and because like the news is out there, and like, you know, I knew because you were supposed to be at an event, and we worked together too. So like, but you were supposed to be at an event, you were supposed to be there, and then you were, and then I found out, and you know, you told me. And I think that, you know, but you still being out there, like crushing it, people can judge that and be like, well, what about her husband, right? Like, why isn't she home with him? And I think that is so unfair because everyone deals with grief differently. And I don't think that, you know, I think this industry is really strange, first of all. Like,
it's judgmental.
Right. And I'm trying to change it. I'm not going to lie. Like, when I got into it, like, I was kind of tricked into it, and I felt, I'm serious. Like, I was. But I felt like God brought me here too. Like, I felt like it was all meant to be. And that's all, like, my passion is like being exactly where I'm supposed to be at exactly the right time. So I kept doing it, even though it was not what I thought it was. But looking back now, I can see like all the steps that I took. And I think that that's kind of what happened with your situation. And I want people to understand, like, nobody should judge anybody for what they're going through. I had a best friend who died from COVID. She was in a coma for a whole month. And I was still going to work. And after she died, people had judgments on how long I should be away from work, whether it should be a week, whether it should be a month, whether it should be a year. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, you can't put that constraint on me. And I don't feel like anybody should judge anyone for that. And so I feel like we need to lift each other up, help each other out. And that's the whole purpose of this, to teach everyone and to tell everyone the truth and just like lay it out there and let them know you got to be consistent. You got to do the things. And that's how you become successful. So like, can you speak on kind of like other things that have helped you get through everything and get to where you're at?
Yeah. So I actually want to say something first. So it doesn't mean like what you see online doesn't mean that I'm not struggling. I for some reason I don't know why, but I've made a couple of videos about cancer and about my husband and about our life. And it's hard for me to post those. So sometimes I even delete them.
I was going to say, I've never seen any.
Yeah. I just haven't done it. I don't know why. It just doesn't seem like the place for me. So I don't do it. But it doesn't mean, I think that people, whatever they see is what they think you're going through. And so it doesn't mean that I'm not like struggling sometimes. And it doesn't mean that I'm not sitting next to him when he's struggling. I mean, it doesn't mean that. It means that I've taken a pocket of time and forgotten everything else, because you can't, you can't sit in cancer or sickness all the time and be able to be strong for the other person. So there's very little that I can control about sickness. There's very little I can control about what's happening with him and all those things, but I can control video.
Yes.
Am I frozen?
You are. We can hear you. Oh, now we can't hear you either. Okay. Well, in the meantime, while we're getting Alisha back, she is in an area, I guess, that doesn't have the greatest internet at the moment, but she is crushing it with video. And I love what she said, that you can't sit in that energy all of the time, right? Oh, are you back? You're back.
I have no idea what happened. Okay, I'm where I left off, but
go ahead. Okay.
Here's the thing. I can't control the cancer. I can't control what's happening around us in our life. I can't even control the real estate market, right? Mm-hmm. But I can control video.
Yes.
And so that's what I choose to focus on. So I make as many videos as humanly possible on the days I feel good. So yesterday I made, in a matter of, I didn't even spend an hour on it, and I made 12 videos. Now,
wow,
people can't do that. Okay.
No, he's like really thrown into that.
Yeah. I mean, I remember, I'll never, ever let her live this down. But this gal in Krista's program said, we're not naturals like Alisha. And I'm like, whoa, back it up. Go look at, and I mean, she was giving me a compliment, but
yeah, of course.
Back it up and go look at my first ones. They sucked.
Oh,
I was pooped after I did one YouTube video. Now I can do 3. Now I have a script for those. It's not like I speak them off my mind. But the TikTok videos, all the short form, you see all of what?
I thought that you didn't. I like you really. The ones in your car and everything. Those are scripts.
No, they are not scripts, but the YouTube are scripts. So the long. No, everything was off the cuff. Now, was it easy for me off the cuff? No. Now, what's working for me right now, so that's what I'm doing is I have a ton of comments and a ton of engagement, so I just reply to comments. So like when I'm not in the mood to do videos, I'm saving the comments on my videos or even other people. Sometimes I go to Liz Brown or Leslie Bennett or some of those, and I save their comments. I usually have enough of my own. And so I just I scroll through the saved ones when I'm in like a good place, and I go crazy. Like what I did yesterday.
So wait, can you explain that a little bit more? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, because I think people need to understand if you're just getting into YouTube or any kind of social media, like the comments, like if you're liking, loving, adding things to comments, like how that can impact you, why you want to reply, all of that. So can you kind of explain?
Yeah. So all of my short form starts in TikTok. Okay. So that's, and then you see it everywhere, but that's because I'm just redistributing it. Well, I don't do it. Somebody else does. I do the
Is that new? Like, were you always doing it in TikTok first?
Yep. Well,
oh, really?
Like probably 2 or 3 years. Yeah. Okay, the short form's always in TikTok. Yep. Okay. And so all the replies of comments are in TikTok. And so I have a lot of drafts. Wow. I actually just bought a second phone so that I could record and hand my phone to my assistant at the office, one of the girls up front, and she it's everything. And then but anyways, so in TikTok, people make comments, right? Mm-hmm. So you go down and you go to reply to the comment. There is a video button, so you can video reply.
I did not know this. That's fascinating. All right.
It's like I always talk about the secret sauce. I think that's the secret sauce right now. It's my secret sauce anyway.
Thank you.
And this is just one of the things that I do in my business. And you actually you could go in and record a TikTok from one of my comments. You could reply to one of my comments. The video. Now it goes in my comment section and it goes on your front page. So it's kind of cool. But anyway, so I do a lot of, so you can also save those comments in a same section, kind of where it's in the same section of TikTok where you save the videos you want to go watch again. Mm-hmm. And so then I record the video and save it in my drafts. And you guys everybody sees the edited version. I mean, I sometimes I say the same sentence 4 times. I mean, I hit stop, delete it, start again. And I went I don't know, several months ago, I was in Denver and I went and met these gals I met on TikTok at Home Depot. And so we were doing videos at Home Depot and they're like, okay, you go first and then we'll do what you do. So I am recording, stopping, backing it up. Like I just didn't like it. And they thought that I had it all together. They were like, oh, you make mistakes.
Had no idea.
Yeah. You only see the good stuff. Sometimes I'm shocked by on my property videos or even that I don't edit. I'm shocked how they come together because I am stumbling over myself. Everyone does it.
Yes.
Everyone. Any of the stuff you see, you think they have this perfect appearance, and in your mind, it's perfect. It's not. They're struggling the same way you're struggling. Now, I may struggle less because I've made I don't know. I make probably 1,000 TikToks a year. So am I better than the person who may have made 1 or 20? Yes.
Absolutely. You're only going to be the worst at something the first time you try it. That's the same thing with making phone calls or, going on a listing appointment. You have to keep stacking on top of each other until you get to that pro level, that whole 10,000 hours. I'm sure you guys have heard that. Once you do something for 10,000 hours, you're a professional at it. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I do consider myself a content creator. I make so much content, it's ridiculous. Yeah. And I get it. I get that people look at that and say, well, how does she have time? Well, because it takes me 2 seconds. Like it doesn't, if you keep making videos, I can't say it enough. You're going to get better. It's going to, like, you're training your brain that it has to spit out the words. And the other thing is, a lot of people tell me, well, I don't know what to say. Well, I mean, all you have to do is look around, like tell your brain that you can find the ideas. And I think that that's why replying to comments right now for me is the easiest, because I read a comment, have an idea. Record it. Read a comment, have another idea. So, those 10 or 12 come off really easy for me, and I'm posting 3 a day. So I made enough yesterday for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. A lot of women especially are really self-conscious about being on video. They, they feel like, even for this, like I use the Zoom, touch up my appearance so that I don't wear makeup most days. But whenever I do Agent Power Huddle, I put on a little tiny bit of foundation and a little eyeliner and a little lip gloss, and I want to look a little better, right? It's just natural. So, I see your video, I feel like when you're in the car and you get an idea for a video, you immediately stop and you do it. And I don't think a lot of people do that. I think they're like, oh, okay, I'll do that later. And then later never comes because they're like, oh, I don't look the way I want to look. I don't feel like my hair is cute enough. So how do you handle that? Like, are you always ready? Do you stay ready?
So I do put on makeup almost every day because it makes me feel better.
Yeah.
I do have videos. If you scroll, you can't find a lot of them, but you can find some of them where I don't have any makeup on. There are some people that I follow. There's a lady that does tarot cards. She uses a filter every day. So if I put on that filter, I look like a dork. But when she puts on that filter, everybody's used to it, right? So you could put on a filter, but it doesn't really matter. There are some times that I have my hair up in a wad, or I haven't even fixed it yet, and I have makeup on or not, and I record. You'll see my hair a lot when it's drying, because I'm sitting at my office. I have a couple of ideas. I'm going to record them before I go in, and I haven't fixed my hair yet. I think you have to get over that.
Get over it, because you're human and you're going to look the way you look regardless. And people connect with that. Obviously, if you are really out of sorts, if you have a giant cold sore, maybe you don't want to record that day or something, like I had a couple weeks ago. But there are ways around it, like you said, with filters. But look the way you're going to look regardless, and people are going to meet you in person. They're going to,
And I feel like you have to get over that. That's an excuse to me. That you don't like how you look is an excuse. People say,
wait, you look. Yeah.
People say people say stuff to me like, oh my gosh, your hair is crazy. When I have it in a wad, somebody said I'd never use a real estate agent who wears a t-shirt. Well, then I am not your girl, because all summer long, all I wear is t-shirts. And that's what I say.
Okay. That's fascinating. Cause, so yes, mean comments. You must get cause I am always preaching YouTube, and I have this platform now, but I'm barely scratching the surface of what I can do. But I get people your microphone doesn't work, or why don't you have a better camera, or why would I ever want follow-up techniques? I never want to hear from a realtor on Christmas or whatever. I'm I'm not gonna call you on Christmas anyways, people, but what? So how do you handle that stuff?
So I think it used to affect me more than it does, and I think depending on what's going on in my life, if it affects me still. So I remember years and years ago, I was going to record a video. For some reason, I had YouTube open on my phone, and the guy said, and I get some of the things that I get is I'm going to on YouTube, because there's a lot of people that are moving to Casper, right? So people say, well, I think it was something like the people in this town hate her because she's ruining it with her videos. And it affected me so much, I couldn't even record the video. Now, that is a long time ago. And it was probably during COVID, because that's when I started, actually. But anyway, now, sometimes I think you have to protect your peace. So block them. There's the guy that keeps writing on my TikToks. He keeps getting new accounts and writing, that is one scary looking lady. Block. Protect your peace.
I love that.
We do not have to let those people be on there. You don't. It's not. And before, I think until recently, I didn't do that. I just let it lie. But now I'm screw you. Click.
Yes. Well, I love that. And I think, there's something empowering about that. And it says a lot more about that person that's taking the time to create fake accounts just to troll you and like just to be mean. And so, I mean, I'm sending, good vibes that way, because poor person who, whatever the situation they're in.
But it's still annoying. I mean, it's like, really? But you, like Gary Vee always says this, if somebody, imagine what their life is like if that's what they have to do.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah. I mean, we get that too. Like, as people that make phone calls for a living, we get some really mean stuff said to us. And, and it's like never about us. It's all about them. So I love that. And I love that you said that maybe in the beginning you didn't do it, but now you're more like, you have that confidence. And you're like, you know what? Screw you. I want to go back to something else you said, though, when they were like, you're ruining the town. You're ruining Casper Web. Personally, I didn't really get into it, but like I was your ISA for like over a year. And your way of video was like, like you had the most amazing videos. And what I thought it was celebrating Casper. Like, I actually want to go to Casper because I watched so many of your videos. I want to know what it's like. I want to go to the little town. I want to see the people, like, because you've shown such an amazing, viewpoint that not a lot of people get to see. And I don't even know how big of a town it is, but I know that you like made it into something. So ruining, I would say it's the complete opposite. You have made that a little gem. That
It's just, I don't think just because somebody writes something doesn't mean it's true. Just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's true. And so you have to figure out, when the trolls are saying crappy things, you have to figure out how to get past it. And I think it's just, again, it's like learning how to deal with it. It's not, and you won't have hate unless you have, you won't have like a viral video unless you have some hate that comes with it. So, let's see, a year and a half ago, I had a viral video on TikTok that got me probably half the followers I have now. And it was at a Home Depot. And I was talking about how, as a landlord for 20 years, that these are the products I use. Now, the reason that went viral is because I almost actually didn't post it. So that's another thing. It's like post no matter what. And I want to talk about the amount of times you post in a second. So, okay. But the reason it was so powerful is because like people don't like Formica, or they love it. They don't like, luxury vinyl planking, or they do. They had an opinion about which faucet I used. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, polarizing.
It's polarizing. You have to pick a side. You can't like, I don't know. I mean, another one that went really good is I have 20 rentals, and so recently, and it has like almost 600,000 views. Recently, this is a rant. Recently, I said. So I said, I don't raise, if a tenant stays in my properties, I don't raise the rent. And people went bananas over that because I picked a side. Uh-huh. And so if you're like, this is what earnest money is, you're not going to get any views. Nobody cares.
Right. It's boring. That's boring. See, people need to know who you are. And like, I feel like just this conversation, we were together for over a year, like I said, but like, I feel just this conversation, I know so much more about you. And I think we have so much more in common than I knew even, which is funny, which I'll text you later about. But another thing I was going to say is I went to go see Beetlejuice. My sister gave me tickets to go see Beetlejuice recently. And there was this quote, like, one of the people is like a life coach guru, and she was always quoting Oso, like if anybody's seen Beetlejuice, it's amazing, but the musical is even better. So anyway, they said that if you want to have success, it sucks. Yes. Like, that's what it is. It's going to suck. Yes, it is. But that's how you get success. I mean, and it was like such a dumb quote, but it's for real. Like, you have to go through the sucky stuff. You have to deal with the hate. You have to keep doing the things that you don't want to do. And you have to get over your fears. You have to get over yourself. You have to be willing to put yourself out there. There are so many things that, like, a lot of people, once they get that uncomfy spot, they're like, rewind, back it up.
Well, and I think that's kind of like, there's a lot of things that you don't want to do that we do every day. So like, how many things are there? There's a ton. So my husband's uncle always says, like, how many things do you think Alisha does every day that she doesn't really want to do?
Yeah.
It's stupid.
All the time.
And this video, I mean, I don't always want to create video. Just because I'm in the right place to create it doesn't mean I want to create it. So I have to have the discipline to do it because I know it helps my business and I know it helps my brand and I know all the things that I think, your brand's important. But the other thing I wanted to say real quick is, so it's about, I think sometimes video creation is about the story. And that's another thing that was really hard for me. About a year ago, I thought I need to start telling some stories. And I didn't think that I was that good of a storyteller. I actually said that on a coach or on a skin of the game call. And they're like, whatever. So I said I was going to do one. And what happens is it becomes, because I had never done it before, of course I'm not going to be good at it. So now I tell the story. I walk through almost if I'm in town, I walk through every house that I listed or I sold, and I tell the story. And they get a crazy amount of views.
Wow.
Because you're telling that person's story. Like what was different about that person? Like they didn't like the payment. They put their offer in, a couple different times. They had a horrible experience and had to back out of a house. Like, I mean, what is the story behind the person that's buying that house?
Wow.
And so I tell myself that I'm going to go to that house and I'm going to record 5 videos. What are they going to be? And sometimes I don't have them all organized in my brain by the time I get there. But think about that. I mean, that's almost 2 days of content. Now I space them out. I don't post them all, but that's, and again, nobody's watching at the beginning, so you just got to post it.
Keep up. Well, okay. And you mentioned earlier that you were going to come back to how often to post.
Okay. So you need to do what you can do consistently. However, the more you post, the more chance you have to go viral, right?
Yeah. Yes.
But the more chance that something's going to trigger in TikTok that is going to go crazy. And I will tell you, there's a lot of people who say, you cannot, I hear it on the internet all the time, or on TikTok and everywhere, I guess, but you can't take one platform and put it somewhere else. Well, I am proof that you can. So I started posting my TikToks on, now I did take the watermark off, but on my TikTok on Instagram, I had like 500 followers. I have like 9,500 now. And followers on Instagram are hard to get.
Yes. Yeah.
And different things will pop off differently on. So like I might have something that has 500,000 views on TikTok, but it has, I don't know, 70 views on Instagram. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's a little bit luck, right?
Yeah.
Luck is in this because how many people did it relate to fast? If it relates to a whole bunch of them, then it's going to go great.
Sometimes I think that something's going to go crazy and then it doesn't.
It's only the ones that you think suck that go crazy.
I think you're right about that. Like I remember, especially with TikTok. First of all, the first time I posted on TikTok, I was shocked at how many views, how quickly, like immediately, like 200 views, and I didn't even have I didn't really use it for that. I was using it just to record the videos and stuff like that, and so I was just shocked. And then I posted I rewrote a quote, and that got like thousands of views, and I was like, what in the world? I did a black and white video about how to cook bacon in the oven, and that was like my first time trying video, and it got 5,000 views on Instagram. So I thought it was going to be easy after that, and it was, and then you're like, okay, here I got a piddly like 2 views, but
so one of the girls on my team, she we went to do a video at one of our new listings, and I brought my horse and she brought a cow, and I'm like, let's do this up. It's country, So we she has a lamb with her too, and she sets the lamb down, and then she puts she thinks that the cow is going to butt the lamb, so she picks it up. Well, then the cow butts her, and she goes flying off the screen. Her husband's videoing it. I was like doing the drone footage on my horse, so I didn't. It was recording me, so I wasn't there. It is at like 3 million views.
I might have seen this before because
here's what she did wrong. She didn't ride the train. She's posted, this was like 3 weeks ago, and she's posted 3 videos since then.
Oh no.
If you have something that pops off, you better hustle your butt and keep going, because you should be talking about that over and over. And keep like telling the story. And when I get home, I'm going to have a discussion with her about it, because I think that it's so important. If you have something that pops off, that's what you double down on. So talk about the cat, and it doesn't have to be real estate. That wasn't real estate.
Yeah.
So that did turn it back to real estate. And I think that's good. I mean, we heard the next video, she told the story of how it all happened. Now, she got a massive amount of hate. like, duh, you're going to get butted or whatever. I mean, it was unreal. But anyway, my point is that if you know what is good, you go after that. So I know that if I go to Home Depot, I'm going to get a lot of engagement. That is my home base. So investor, that's my home base. I mean, I don't know. I probably have more home bases than I can think of at the moment, but I probably shouldn't have that many. But, really our niche is real estate when you think about, and you have to pick one thing, and that's what you go back to always. And then you can do the other things.
But it's real estate, but also it's Alisha Collins, who she is, right? Because people are going to resonate with you in a way that they're not going to resonate with other people. And I tell my clients this all the time, and that's why I'm always harping on them about video and why you set such a good example, because we had success with, sending that to people, your YouTube videos, and other things like that. It was mostly YouTube because of the way it goes through in a text message.
Right.
Yeah. So I didn't even know it was started with TikTok, which is interesting, but I love this conversation.
But wait a second. So the ones that I think you were using were the long form. So long form, I don't do on TikTok. Everything you do, like the YouTube shorts come from TikTok.
I was using some of the YouTube shorts, like when you're talking about like the paint colors, because I remember I talked to one of your people and she was like, oh, we want to paint and blah, blah. I had so much fun. Like when your people picked up, they like actually wanted to talk usually. And we had fun. Just not, you ran out of leads at some point, not in a bad way, like not a...
It's just, I live in a small town. I mean,
it wasn't necessary for me anymore. Not that we've ended on bad terms. That's kind of why I didn't want to bring that up, but we did not.
No, we didn't. Yeah, it's just a lead flow thing. And I mean, the other thing is, I do think agents need to learn how to call leads. Like, I mean, if you never learn how to call leads, you never learn how, like, any etiquette on the phone.
Or like how to handle rejection, how to be consistent. Yep. I know. And that's why I made a whole course on it. And I was like, you don't need to hire an IC. You can just take this course and you can figure out how to do it yourself. Right. So there is that out there. Hit me up if you guys want it. We have gone over time. But this was an excellent convo. And I'm so glad you joined me. I don't want to I know you're busy. So anybody have any last minute questions or any last minute thoughts that you have, Alisha, that you want to share?
And we're coming back on here, right?
Oh, if you want to, I'm on here every other Wednesday and probably eventually going to be on every Wednesday.
Is it every, I think in 2 weeks we're on again, right?
Are you coming on with me in 2 weeks?
I don't know. Who knows?
I mean, I could work it out.
Yes, sorry. I'm,
busy. It's all good though. I am here every other Wednesday, but I recently picked up a Wednesday, so I think I won't be here next week, but I'll be here the week after, and then you'll be on with Jesse. So everybody, check that out.
Okay, so one last thing, you got to make the video. You got to be consistent. If you can do one a day, that's fantastic. That is where you should be. I do 3 a day. That's what works for me because I'm mass producing. And you'll get to that point if you just work that muscle.
100%. Well, that's just like us. Most agents don't make any calls a day. You got to start somewhere. Start making 1 or 2 calls. Then you do 5. Then you do 10. Eventually you get to 100 like me, or you're out there making the sales and then you hire somebody like me to do it. So there you go.
Well, and the thing is that eventually your videos take over most of your calling.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I talked to somebody else about that recently, and yeah, they're getting the phone calls. Like people are like, hey, I know what it's like to live in Casper, Wyoming. Now I want, I have to move there for business, or I'm ready to make that, I love it. Well, this was an awesome call. I'm so glad you came on, and I'm so glad that you were okay, sharing your story, being vulnerable, and all of that. And I just want to celebrate you. And as women, as agents in this industry, let's change the narrative. Let's stop being so narcissistic in this industry. Let's be friendly, okay? Let's lift each other up. Let's stop being so judgmental. Enough. Enough is enough, all right? Let's just keep crushing it. And thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Y'all have a good day. Bye.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.